Welcome to the Getting Started video. When you look at the Autocad interface, we have a grid that's turned on, and that's turned on based on the status bar icons at the bottom left corner of your screen. When these icons are blue, they're on, and when they're gray, they're off. So the third one there is the grid. If you pick it, the grid will be turned off. Also, the tools that we're going to use for this video are the 5th icon and the 6th icon. Any other icons that are blue, you can select them so that they turn gray. The 5th icon will help you to draw straight lines. It's called polar tracking. You can also draw angled lines. The 6th icon, called Object Snap, will help you to snap onto existing geometry. And if you just rest your pointer on any of these tools, you'll see a little tooltip that tells you what that tool is called. The most important part of the entire screen is your command line. At the bottom left corner, you'll see Command colon. That is the active line in AutoCAD. All of the lines above that are the history. Use the Escape key on your keyboard for now to see that you're canceling out of any commands that you start. We have a ribbon across the top that's separated by panels, and right now we're in a 3D modeling mode. If you look at the top left corner, we'll be coming back to 3D modeling a little bit later on in the class. So let's go ahead and drop this list down and pick 2D Drafting and Annotation. You'll see that the ribbon changes to the 2D commands, and we have tabs that give us a different look for the ribbon. So picking the Insert tab or the View tab will give us different commands within the ribbon. Let's go back to the Home tab, which has several features that we can use. At the very top of the screen, the Quick Access toolbar will give you icons that you can use. You can also add additional icons in the Quick Access toolbar by resting your pointer on top of any icons in the ribbon, right click and pick Add to Quick Access toolbar. You'll notice that that command is now in the Quick Access toolbar. If you'd like to remove it, just rest your pointer over the icon, right click and pick Remove from Quick Access toolbar. Pick the small black arrow to the right of the printer icon. Sometimes these drop downs don't appear in the video, but if you pick the small black arrow next to the printer, you'll have check marks next to those same icons that you have in the Quick Access toolbar. Some of those same commands are underneath the big A, the application menu, in the very top left corner of your screen. If there's a file that you're going to open often, you can pick the little push pin, and that file will remain in your list of files until you unpin it. At the top of the screen, you'll see drawing1.dwg. This drawing hasn't been saved yet. That's one of the first things you should do when you're starting a new AutoCAD file. So you can click on this little floppy disk icon at the top of the screen and save the file by navigating to the appropriate folder and clicking where it says file name and typing in your file name. For this assignment, I'll call it A1. I'll pick Save. When we work with 2D, we want to make sure that this view cube is on top because we're looking down at the top of the view. Later when we work with 3D models, we will use the view cube to change the view. At the bottom left corner of the screen, we're going to be working in model space. Model space is where we typically draw all of our objects, and everything is drawn at full scale, which means if you're drawing objects from as small as a pencil to a floor plan and even an entire city, in most applications everything is drawn to that full scale. We're going to hold off on layout 1 and 2 until later on in the class. Make sure at the bottom left corner we have model selected. At the top of your screen, you'll see a small arrow pointing up, and it looks like it's inside of an ellipse. If you continue to press that button, you'll see that the ribbon will collapse to smaller icons, and then continuing to select that button, we'll see just the titles of the panels, and again to only see here the tabs, and when you click on the tab, you'll see the rest of the ribbon. Continuing to click on that small icon will bring you back to the default. Anytime you see a small triangular arrow that points downward, if you select it, you'll see additional commands that are underneath panel titles and also next to icons. Sometimes you'll have more options for that specific command. Remember, if you accidentally start a command, you can use your escape key to get back to the command line. That is your dialogue with AutoCAD. So you want to spend a lot of time when you're first starting out with AutoCAD looking at the command line. Let's get started. We can pick on the line icon, which is the very first one in the draw panel. When you do that, if you look at your command line, it says line specify first point. We're going to pick a point and then don't pick any more points. Just pull your mouse towards the left and then type in 6.5 and enter. I'm not clicking any points. It's probably the hardest part about using what's called direct distance entry. You're pulling your mouse in the direction that you want to draw in and you're typing in the distance. So now I can pull my mouse straight down and type in 6.5 and enter. If you moved your mouse and your line ends up out in space, I'll just type in 6.5 and enter, and my mouse moved and I'm out in this direction and I meant to go straight across to the right. If you look at your command line, you'll see specify next point or close/undo. Close and undo are options that you can access either by typing in C or U or right-clicking. That's what we're going to do. Right-click and pick undo. By right-clicking and undo while you're in the line command, AutoCAD will bring you back one line segment at a time. So I'll pull my mouse down, again type in 6.5 and enter, pull my mouse to the right and type in 5.5 and enter, pull my mouse straight up and type in 2.5. Remember, I'm not clicking. All I'm doing is pulling my mouse straight until I see that extended tracking vector, those little dashed lines that tell me that I'm drawing a straight line based on polar tracking. I can type in 2.5 and enter, pull my mouse up and type in 3 and enter. And then at the very end, the other option you have in your command line is to close. If I right click and pick close, I'll close back to the first point that I picked. And you've started your first assignment. When you start the line command and pick in space, when you pull your mouse away from that point, notice that there is an extended rubber band, they call it. It's not really a line yet until you actually click a point. So it's really the direction that you're drawing a line in. If I pull my mouse in a certain direction and then type in a distance like 3 and enter, I've got a line drawn, but I still have that little rubber band or direction that I like to draw in. You can right click and pick enter when you're done, or cancel, or pick the escape key to get back to the command line. If I need to erase an object, one option is to select the erase icon, which is in the modify panel, and if you look at your command line, it says erase select object, so I can put that little pick box on the object and select it. It still says select object. AutoCAD doesn't know that you're done unless you enter or right click. So if I right click, it's similar to an enter. I won't have to use the keyboard enter. If you start the erase command and pick in space somewhere around the middle top of your screen, if you pull your mouse to the left, everything inside and crossing over the box will be selected. Pull my mouse to the right, then only the objects completely inside the box are selected. So I'll go ahead and left click here and see that just these objects are selected. Go ahead and use your escape key. We're going to go back to our project. Using the offset command, we can create a parallel line that's at a specific distance away from one of these original lines. We are going to use the offset command as an option to establish the center of a circle that we're going to draw. The offset icon is just diagonal from the erase command in the modify panel. We can go ahead and pick offset. Reading your command line, it says specify offset distance. So instead of selecting objects, the first thing you do when you start the offset command is type in the distance. We have an offset of 2.5 from this line on the left, so I'll type in 2.5 and enter. Now your command line says select object to offset. You can then select this line on the left hand side as the object to offset, and then it says specify point on side to offset. So you can either pick anywhere to the right or anywhere to the left depending on which direction you'd like that offset. So I'm going to pick here to the right, and I've created this parallel line that's 2.5 from the existing line. We'll need to go out of the command and back in it again So one option is to right click and pick enter, and notice that you go back to the command line. If you right click, you can always repeat the last command that you just used. So I can right click and repeat the offset command. Or in some cases you can just go back up to the offset icon if you'd like, and most commands will cancel out the command you were just in. So I'm going to right click and pick offset and type in my new distance, which is 3, and enter. Select here the bottom line as the object to offset, and then pick anywhere above that line for the specific point on side to offset. Now I have my two kind of construction lines that I can use. I'll right click and pick enter to get back to the command line. The circle in our assignment has a diameter of 2.5. So in the draw panel, you can go back to that circle drop down here by picking the small black arrow and pick center diameter. In your command line, you'll see that it says specify center point. Well, the center point is the intersection of those two lines. When you see the X and you see the tooltip that says intersection, you're now using the object snaps, which we turned on at the bottom left corner. I'm going to left click, and then watching your command line, it says specify diameter of circle. We can type in 2.5 and enter. We can now start the erase command, select here both of these lines that we don't need, and enter. Going back to the offset command, we'll type in 1.5 and enter. Select the top line, pick below it. Right click and pick enter. Right click and pick repeat offset. Type in 5 and enter. Select here the line on the left side as the object to offset and pick to the right. Right click and pick enter, and now we're ready to draw our second circle. Our second circle is a diameter of 1.5. Start the center diameter command and pick the intersection of these two lines. Type in 1.5 and enter. Use the erase command to select these two lines and then enter them. Save your file periodically by picking the floppy disk icon at the top left side. The second time that you pick save, you've actually created another file that's in that same folder. The actual drawing file has an extension of DWG, but now we just created a file that has an extension BAK. In the annotation panel of the Home tab, we can pick linear and left click at the top left and over here at the top right. Pull your mouse up and click. So it's 3 picks with your left mouse button. We'll pick linear, pick this corner, pick the center of the circle, making sure that you have the center marker. Pull your mouse up and pick. And the first thing you'll notice is that the precision on these dimensions is 4 places to the right of the decimal, when in our project we only want it rounded to 2 places. If you type D and enter, we can take a quick look at the Dimension Style Manager. As an introduction, we're using the standard style. We can pick the Modify button, go to the Primary Units tab, and change here the precision in the drop-down to zeros to the right of the decimal. Pick OK and close, and you'll see that your dimensions update automatically. When you're placing linear dimensions, you can place vertical and horizontal. You want to be careful that you're selecting the corner of the object and not the end of one of the other dimension extension lines. When you're dimensioning from a line to a circle, you can pick the linear dimension, start at this corner, and then pick in the center of the circle, being careful not to pick on the extension line of the other dimension. If you did accidentally draw this dimension selecting the end of an extension line instead of the object, you could select the dimension, pick inside the blue grip that's at the end of the dimension, pull your mouse down to the corner and left click. Also, when you dimension, if you'd like to line 2 dimensions up so that they're perfectly aligned, you can pull your mouse over and left click at the corner of an existing dimension to line it up. I can right click and pick repeat dim linear and pick these 2 corners here for the 2.5 and here for the 5.5. Remember, if you need to line up a dimension, pull your mouse over to an existing dimension until you get the marker and then click. If you need to modify the location of a dimension, you can select the dimension so that it has these blue grips. Pick inside the grip that's close to the text and change the dimension line location and or the text location. To bring it back, you can use this grip or the corner grip here. To place these diameter dimensions, go back up to linear that we used for the other dimensions and click on the small arrow just to the right of the word linear. In that drop down, you'll find diameter. Select that tool, click on the circle itself, pull your mouse away from the circle, and select the location of this diameter. 2.5 for this circle and diameter 1.5 for the other one. Use the wheel of your mouse to zoom back away from your drawing so that we can place text just below it. In the Annotation tab, we'll pick multi-line text, then left click here to place the text. Pull your mouse over to establish the width of the text editor and down and left click. You can use the wheel of your mouse to get a little closer. Put your cap locks on and type in assignment 1. Press enter and type in your name. Then hold your left mouse button down just to the right of number 1. Drag your mouse across to highlight assignment 1. Pick the U icon under formatting to underline assignment 1. You can left click anywhere in the text screen to close the text editor or pick the close text editor icon here at the top right. If you need to move this text over a bit to line it up, you can select it and then hold your left mouse button down on the text and drag and drop it. This is one of the many ways of moving an object by selecting it, holding your left mouse button down, and drag and drop. If you need to go back inside the text editor, you can double click on the text, opening up the text editor. Notice that the ribbon changes to include many features for text editing. Left click inside the AutoCAD screen to close out of the text editor, and then use the wheel of your mouse to zoom back a little bit. Hold the wheel of your mouse down to pan. Save the file using the floppy disk icon at the top left corner. Now let's take a look at basic plotting. We'll pick the plotter icon at the top left, change the name of the printer to the printer that you'll be using. Under plot area, what to plot, display, select this drop down and pick window. Then left click, pull your mouse across the drawing, establishing your plot area, and then left click again. Let's put a check mark and center the plot. We'll keep the settings for the plot scale the same, fit to paper. Then select this small circle with the less than and greater than symbol to open and close the right side of this dialog box for more information. We're going to change here the plot style table from none to monochrome CTB to establish a black and white plot. Pick yes to assign it to all of the layouts. Apply those settings to the layout by picking apply to layout. Always preview your plot before picking OK. If you're using an educational product that was downloaded from the Autodesk website, you will get the line of text on all 4 sides that says produced by an Autodesk educational product. That is the biggest difference between purchasing AutoCAD and receiving a 3-year free download through the Autodesk website education community. If you're ready to print on campus or off, you can pick the printer icon at the top left corner of your screen. I'll go ahead and pick close. Always apply to the layout so that you can maintain these settings with the file.